Hello, I'm Dale, the TamBoTC channel, and I'm actually doing this video again because I screwed over my previous video. um, so now I have to say everything I previously said again. Great. So Elfquest is having a animated series come out finally, and I want to talk about it. So first off, on the official Elfquest, the official page for I think their Facebook, which is it says here ICYMI, an Elfquest animated series is in the works. Bleeding Cool reports a 1-hour animated drama series adaptation has received a script commitment from Fox, stemming from Rodney Rothman and Adam Rosenberg's Modern Magic. Susan Horwitz Arneson, Netflix's The Last Amazon, Netflix's Magic Order, is on board to write as well as serve as showrunner and executive producer, with Bento Box serving as the studio. Wendy Penny and Richard Penny will executive produce alongside Arneson as well as Rothman and Rosenberg for Modern Magic. And they quote, Elfquest couldn't be in better hands, said Wendy and Richard Penny in a statement when the news was first released. Our collaborations trust the story. We have the highest regard for their previous achievements, and they have our blessing and input. We know their adaptation of Elfquest will be a dream come true. So, yeah. I think this is a really good thing. However, I don't trust modern Hollywood anything. There's a lot of Hollywood studios, and especially Disney and such, and this is Fox and still Netflix, which we've seen them screw over stuff too. A lot. Especially nowadays, there's a lot of stuff sadly screwed over by, and a lot of it is because there's agreed pretentiousness within the creators themselves, thinking that they can do something better, or a passionate hatred either for the thing, or pretentious that they think they can make something better than the original creators, or that they're just hateful of maybe the fan base of said thing, or they want to do it in a way that's not within the spirit of the original, and they rely on modernizing things in quotations, like modern gaming, Ackman and all that kind of crap you could use as examples. And yeah, I hope it's good. I actually kind of think there's a benefit to not being super popular or famous for Elfquest, because you can tell it doesn't have the largest fan base. But yeah, it's such a good fantasy series though, that this is such, like, I honestly like Elfquest more than Lord of the Rings even. And I freaking love Lord of the Rings. It's such a good series. But Elfquest is so good. And like, I know I haven't covered much Elfquest on the series, and I want to do a read along, but I don't do it in respect to the podcast series they have, where they do a reading and such of the books. But yeah, I would love to still do that sometime. And I just worry for the future of this, even if it has the benefit of the original creators, and there's sometimes a good thing not to have original writers or creators of their own work be in the forefront or a bigger part, kind of like, for example, Stephen King with like Maximum Overdrive and some of his tastes in movies sometimes and what he has to say. Though he has saved Evil Dead, like he gave Evil Dead a big pass, and I'm glad Evil Dead probably wouldn't be where it is without Stephen King saying what he did. I love the original Evil Dead series because it's so comedic and ridiculous, and I love the character of Ash. And it's like a comedy horror series. But yeah, like freaking, I'm kind of worried about this. Just modern Hollywood. Take for example the Witcher stuff. or like the cyberpunk anime. Like, I don't think the cyberpunk anime is as big a deal as other people make it out to be, but it's like, I actually would trust like an anime studio maybe more with something like freaking Elfquest. But it needs to be within the style of the comics, because I feel like that's what makes it so unique as it is. Um, this could turn out to be a good, really good thing or a bad thing. So, or mediocre. So I hope not. This needs to be really good. And at the same time, I'm worried that in the future we'll be screwed over. But I mean, you learn from your mistakes, but I feel like modern day Hollywood doesn't really learn from their mistakes. So that's why I'm worried. They're just going to do a lot of the same bull crap over and over again. Just look at everything with Disney lately. And just in general after 2014. They've been really just ridiculous with their stuff. Even the stuff that made the most money, like Lion King remake and all that, like freaking disastrous. It may have made a lot of money, but goddamn, it is the stupidest thing to make a lot of money. I mean, stuff like Transformers and such back in the day made a lot of money. Like, they're like, what? But yeah, like, I worry about this. I really do. This is a series that I was named after one of the characters from it, and it was such a series that stuck with me and my entire family for the longest time. And I've actually, it was like, of all people I've gotten to meet that have been known for a big project, whether it be a comic book, movie, show, whatever it may be, the one person I meet in particular is Richard Penny. I haven't gotten to meet Wendy, and I've even asked him if I could sometime, but that still hasn't happened. As well as I think she's not local to where I've met him, because I think he's mentioned that she's been in California before, which is clearly on the other side of the world practically from me. So it would be cool to frickin' meet her though, because she has the brilliant art and he has brilliant writing, and it just makes such a dynamic duo in those respects. But yeah, it's I just hope for the best with this series. I really do hope for the best. And yeah, it's there's a lot to think about. I want to use an example, like I was talking about Cyberpunk. I never felt like the anime reflected what the game, because the game and the anime had not the same energy at all. Like the game, there's a lot of freaking standing around talking exposition crap, where the anime, while it has those talking moments, it's very energetic. It's even emotional. It can get you emotional, and the characters are just much better written and more diverse in interesting ways instead of just literally being diverse. And I just didn't feel like it reflected it. I also understood the name of Cyberpunk much better, in my opinion, than what frickin' the game did, where it was more focused on the punk part, and it's not even the right kind of punk that the tabletop was trying to represent. It's just ridiculous. Where like you could even use the live action Halo show. It doesn't feel like it reflects the same energy. It doesn't even feel like the same property as the game series. But that's like a reversed, where the game is really good, but the freaking the show sucks. Or like the Doom movies in comparison to the Doom game is like not even reflective of it. That's like the worst one. Like how the frick did they get there with that? Look at frickin' Doom. It's like a frickin' and they messed it up twice. But yeah, like take Witcher. Like Elric's another series that's not super popular. I think might get its own series too, but I prefer it over The Witcher. I love The Witcher though, but I do prefer Elric over The Witcher. It's such a well-written series, and there's a lot of people that claim that Witcher plagiarized it in many ways. And while I'm not going to deny them, I do think that Witcher still contributes something good enough to fantasy genre, and that we wouldn't be where we are with fantasy if it wasn't for something like The Witcher. But even The Witcher has fumbled. Look at how the show went after a while. Like, goddamn. And I know that's something to be expected, but there are series where that's not to be expected too. Look at Breaking Bad. It's freaking awesome all the way through, pretty much. Even Better Call Saul. It's like, come on. Clearly, if you have the right writers and stuff, it can be really good. I'm gonna look into these series that these people previously written for Netflix, and if I don't see good things with them, then I'm going to be even more worried. So, we will see. But respectfully, I would probably trust a Japanese studio more, like maybe the ones that did Beastars and such, animation and so on. I don't know. But yeah, we will have to see. We'll have to wait and see. And I want to take, for example, once again, another example that is, for what I said, I use as example for a lot of things, especially you can use for Hollywood and some of the previous things I was mentioning with them, with their hateful passion or maybe the hate of the fan base or something. A lot of Hollywood have been doing something that, or people within Hollywood have been doing things the wrong freaking way, according to what I'm about to say. And that example is if you're an employee working at a store and you're like your you run a cash register or whatever, and you have a customer up at the counter being very nasty and rude, whether it's to you or other people, how do you approach the situation? Do you respectfully tell them to leave? Do you try to calm down, cool down the situation and find out what's wrong, the heart of the problem, best you can? Hopefully simmer things down. Or do you get somebody more professional or in a better position that is a higher up, like your boss or manager or whatever, to help out with the situation? And hopefully they don't be a dickhead about it and do the thing I'm about to say, which is the option that I think is the wrong option, and the one that Hollywood always takes for a lot of things, is be an asshole back. And it not only makes you look unprofessional, but I feel like it ruins your reputation, makes you look really bad in front of other people, and makes people trust you less. Yeah, that's how I feel a lot of Hollywood has taken things. And it sucks. We've seen how a lot of those people have been on Twitter. Then again, everybody's kind of an asshole on Twitter and opinionated and don't want you to have the right opinion at all. I have a Twitter, but I don't use it really. I have pictures on there and stuff, but I don't really use Twitter much. If anything, I'd rather use Discord, and I actually have put my Discord up on my channel finally as a let's see where I can find it actually while I'm talking about this. But yeah, I connected Discord to my channel, I'll link to it, and you should be able to find it on the channel. I'm just trying to figure out how you get to it. So I'm using my phone to get to this, by the way. So I click on my channel. I'm TamBoTC. I mean, you would already know because you're at the channel right now if you're watching this. So I think you have to go to my community tab at the top. Let's see, is it community tab? No, that is not it. That's let's see, is it description? Do you have to go to my, yes, it looks like you have to go to my description, I guess, and there's a links section that says Tam's Twitter, and then there's Tam's Discord community, and you can click that link to get to it. I just made it recently. There's not much on it right now. It's brand new. There's nobody but me on it right now. And it would be cool to talk to you guys or whatever. I don't have like planned events or anything. I'm not a big channel. I don't really have much. It would just mostly be a chilling kind of Discord or whatever. But yeah. And I don't, there is more to say, but I don't really want to talk about other things with it. I got out of certain things in the past with a lot of YouTubers I used to watch, and like when you're modernized something as well as I don't give a crap about politics. I'm a neutral person. I don't want to be involved in politics at freaking all. It's basically like Twitter. And I never want to be involved in that stuff anyways, and I never will. And there's just certain ways that people approach. Now there is good, I've seen a lot of stories as of lately that try to do like the diversity stories and stuff. And I'm not saying everything's doing that, but I feel like there are some times where messages can be freaking forced. Or that good quote that Nostalgia Critic made in his Dark Knight Rises review, or what was it? The characters drive the character development drives the message or whatever. I can't remember what how he quoted it, but you know if you've seen his Dark Knight Rises review. But it's a really good quote, and I think they should take inspiration from just a quote like that. I feel like stuff like Beastars and ironically Zootopia have done those types of messages better, and where stuff like Velma and such have not. But I don't give a crap about that stuff, nor am I going to let that stuff get in the way or really think that it's a opposing thing. I just think it's kind of silly that something like making a diversity message or whatever just would not work for something like Elfquest. It's really weird. And even if it did, you have to make sure you're still within the heart and style of Elfquest, because you could really screw things over if you're not careful. I don't want to talk about that stuff anymore because I don't give a crap about that stuff. I used to watch a bunch of YouTubers that I freaking hate now, like Synthetic Man, and even though I don't mind Shadbristy's like looking over swords and medieval weaponry channel, I'm not a big fan of a lot of their Night's Watch stuff. Like, they can get very opinionated and get to subjects that can be a little either over-exaggerated, ridiculous, and while they are very good and articulate with the way they word and phrase things, there can still be ways in which they can manipulate or say things similar to what people noticed with how the Completionist lately has worded certain things with his apology and such. And while I don't think they're quite as nearly bad as Completionist, I do think that some of their stuff isn't always the greatest. And yeah, like, can be a little over the top sometimes. But that's not to say that someone like Angry Joe should just come along and do that very thing I was just mentioning, where he attacks somebody and he's an asshole back to that customer. Basically what Angry Joe was also doing. Angry Joe's done a lot of stupid things lately. I can't even mention a lot of stupid things. And like the whole Payday 3 promoting a broken ass game thing. Like, ugh, even Actman freaking was an asshole of that. And yeah, that's just not the right way. I think when somebody's usually a jerk to me online, it's because I mostly reply to them. I either break down what they say because I always spot so many things, this kind of an addiction at this point at times, where I break down everything they say and show for the flaws I think it has. Or if they actually have a really good point, I'll just compliment them on it. or add whatever I think would be informative to add to it instead of against it. Or if it's something like, I remember I had one comment that was clearly trying to be rude, where it's like it was on like a 40-second video of mine, and they were like, pointless video, and all I replied back was pointless comment. And then I think I added a later comment saying, it's only a 40-second long video, dude. If you talking crap about something that's not even taking up a giant amount of your time, then why waste it with this comment? Instead, just to be rude. But then again, there are people out there just to go after you or be an asshole. So that enjoy that, sadly. But I would hope that those people, like a good developed character within the story, would learn from their mistakes and hopefully grow and progress in that manner, where they become a better person and learn from their mistakes of the past, whether they believe they have them or not. I always think that somebody deserves a second chance or so, even. With maybe not everybody. There's some people who, if they keep doing the same goddamn mistakes and they still continue to want to do the same mistakes, and you don't see any progression or them actually wanting to redeem themselves from it. And yeah, of course. And I've had those mistakes myself where I felt like I wasn't going to progress from them, and I've done them so many times. But if like your heart and your passion is there and you want to fight through that best you can, go ahead and try. And especially with like addictions to stuff freaking suck. Luckily I'm not addicted to anything like, drugs, smoking, or alcohol. Like, I'm very delicate with alcohol. Matter of fact, I haven't drank any kind of alcohol in forever. And even if I did, I would be sipping like really small sips within longer periods of time from one another. But yeah, sometimes addictions can get bad though, and you'd need the help required. This video turned really weird from what it was originally. But I think it still goes on an interesting topic from what I was talking about. It's just kind of all over the place, and there's a lot of things I have to say. So, whether it goes off track or not. It's still something I hope somebody finds interesting or whatever. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed nonetheless, or found something informative or interesting nonetheless. And yeah. I'll see you guys next time. If you did, remember to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps. And I will see you guys next time. Bye. And hopefully I get this right this time.